So that was a pretty rapid tour around the highlights of the programming model in WPF. But having written an application, how do you get it onto the end user's machine? The first two options shown here are nothing new. You can use Windows Installer, so you build an MSI file to deploy the application in the way that desktop applications have been deployed on Windows for years. Or you can use Click Once. WPF doesn't add anything to this technology, so it works in much the same way as it does for Windows Forms applications. Although it's worth being aware that WPF currently only supports full trust for that particular model. The window class won't open unless the caller has full trust. The third option shown here is XMAP. This nominally stands for the XAML browser application. This uses Click Once under the covers, but provides an end-user experience that's much more like the old-school Java applet style, which is to say that you can embed rectangles of client-side code inside of a web page. Now, obviously the details under the covers are completely different from Java applets, but as far as the end user is concerned, it looks pretty much the same. By the way, although this does use Click Once, this does not require full trust, unlike standalone WPF Click Once applications. Because this is running inside of the browser frame, you don't need to use the top-level window class, so it works fine in the internet or the intranet trust zones. Obviously, XMAP deployment requires that the end user's machine has the .NET framework installed, and it's a Windows-only technology. So the mere fact that WPF is being hosted inside of a web browser doesn't somehow magically enable WPF code to run on OS X or Linux, for example. Now, Service Pack 1 of .NET 3.5 introduces some new options. For the first time, it becomes possible to deploy a subset of the .NET framework, so you can leave out ASP.NET and other components that only make sense on a server, and deploy a smaller version of the .NET framework that provides enough to run with WPF and Windows Forms applications. And this roughly halves the size of the .NET download, making it a bit more practical to deploy .NET. And the corresponding Service Pack 1 of Visual Studio 2008 provides tools to deploy applications based on this client-only framework. You can either build a setup bootstrapper that will automatically install the framework before going on to do a normal Windows installer installation, or you can deploy this client-only framework via Click Once.